Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about going to MEPS, um, the Military Entrance Processing Station. Yeah, so that's basically where you go after you've talked to your recruiter about joining and everything. He'll send you to MEPS and you'll get to pick which date you want to go, basically. Um, so you go, and that's where you go to take your ASVAB and all your medical stuff. So what'll happen is you can either stay at the hotel the night prior to the day that you're going to MEPS, and it'll be paid for, everything. When I went, I stayed at the hotel. It was a Sheraton, so it was really nice. And then they wake you up at 4 o'clock in the morning. There's like a alarm for 4, 4:30, and 4:45 because you need to be downstairs at breakfast by 5, basically, or something like that. So you wake up and you go get breakfast, which is free, obviously. And then after breakfast, this lady calls you, and she lines you all up, and okay, tallest, or no, it wasn't tallest to shortest. Anyways, it was this huge line. There's like 2 of them, and so she called my group first, and so we walked out and we got into this little van. The rest of the people got into this huge, like, charter bus, and then we drove down like 5 minutes around the corner and went to MEPS. And so we got out and we had all of our stuff, and so then there's this guy there who, for me, it's a retiring colonel, I think. And so he was pretty intense, and he's like, send information, blah, blah, blah. And so you're standing there in parade rest, and then he tells you, this is for MEPS. If you're not here for MEPS, then why are you over here? And there was this one guy who was late getting off the bus, and he just like went up right, he went straight up to the colonel, just like, is this for MEPS? And the colonel was just like, get in the back of the line. So we go in, they give you this cubby space. Well, actually, that's a lie. You go in, and you're going to be mixed with people who are leaving to boot camp that day, and then the people who are going in, taking their ASVAB. Ooh, sorry, it's thundering. People who are taking their ASVAB and all their medical stuff. So basically, that's their first time visiting, which that was my first time visiting. So we went in first. You go through like a little airport security line thing, and then they like make you go through the thing, and then they beep you and put your bag through the little conveyor belt and look in it. Just don't take anything that you don't need to take. You're literally staying overnight at a hotel, so you just need pajamas, your toiletries, and clothes for the next day, and obviously all your important documents and social security stuff. So we went in, then they told us to go up the stairs, down the hall, and put your stuff in the cubby room. So we did that. And then you sign in, and they give you this folder that holds all of your stuff that you're going to get that day. And I went to do medical stuff. Basically, your medical stuff takes the longest out of the day. You have to stop in between to take your ASVAB, then they send you to lunch, and then once you're done with all of your medical stuff, you go back in to take the personality test or something like that. I don't know what their abbreviations are off the top of my head. So I went into medical, and the first thing that I did was ears and eyes. And so they test my eyes, which I wear contacts. I can't see far away. So I wore my glasses. You can't wear your contacts. So I took my glasses, and obviously they test your eyes and blah blah blah, and then they get your prescription, and then they test your ears, and you go into this little room with these headphones on, and you have to listen for little beeps, even the slightest beep, and then you have to press this little button. And then at that point, I had to go take my ASVAB. So I went and took my ASVAB, and I really needed to go to the bathroom, going towards the ASVAB. And I was like, I'm not going to go because then I won't be able to go for the drug P test. So I took my ASVAB, got that, went back to medical, and when I got back there, I was like, I gotta go. And so the lady was like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I just really need to go to the bathroom. And she was like, okay, well, we'll do your drug test now. So the lady goes in with you, and there's a smaller stall and a big stall. You have to go into the big stall, and the door's open, and she watches you pee. What are you gonna do? They gotta watch you pee. And at that point, I was like, yeah, whatever, give me the cup, I need to go. So that happened, and she's not really like, you're peeing. She's standing there filling out your paperwork with the stall door open while you're peeing. Some people say, oh yeah, they're totally staring at you when you're peeing. They are not staring directly at you in your junk going pee. Okay, she's there with the door open, filling out your name or whatever, pee test, getting the labels ready, with the door open. Then you hand her the cup with the top on. That's gross. And you can't wash your hands. So then we go over to the little window thingy, and on that other side of where the bathroom is, the other side of it is where they draw the blood and whatnot. So we're standing there at the little window, and the lady's doing her thing, and then she comes over and she takes the blood test. And so she takes a little bit of it and puts it in the pregnancy test, and then sticks the strips in for drug test. Right then and there, they tell you, you're pregnant, you're not pregnant. You shouldn't be pregnant. If you're wanting to join the military, you can't go to MEPS pregnant. Otherwise, they will disqualify you until you are not pregnant. So, wasn't pregnant, so that's good. Then wasn't on drugs, because I've never done drugs in my life, so that's good. But, so all that, then they like, okay, pass, and then I went over, and then I got my blood drawn. Now, I've never gotten my blood drawn. Ever. I didn't even know what blood type I was, because it just never... So, I'm sitting there in the little chair, and they put like the arm thingy over in front of you so that you don't fall out of the chair in case you get lightheaded and pass out. So she's there, and I have to stick my arm over the thing, and they put the band on to tighten, and I don't have any veins. I'm a dead person. I don't have any veins. They're just really deep into my arm, and they're like little baby veins. So usually your vein pops up, they stick you with the needle, and they take this little vial, which is vacuumed, so your blood gets like sucked into this little vial. Mine it took the lady 3 times, and then she had to get a different lady to do it, and so the lady's fishing in there, and blah blah blah. I had to switch arms. I was like, this is my first time doing this, and this doesn't look like it's going the right way. So she's sticking me with the needle, and finally she finds this little baby vein. She had to actually switch out the needle from the regular needle to this little baby needle because she couldn't find my vein, and because my vein was so little. So there, she finally found a vein, and it starts to fill up the vial very slowly. Most people's blood is like, you know, and it comes out. Mine is just like... So I was sitting there for a good 10 to 15 minutes with this needle in my arm while my blood is taking its sweet precious time filling up the vial, and I'm like, I'm getting lightheaded. And so, after I said that, she pulls this lever on the chair, and the chair, like, folds back, like, super fast. And she's like, I don't want to take any risks. If you're getting lightheaded, you need to lay down. Thank you. Finally, this vial is filled up, blah, blah, blah. I sit back up. I'm like, I'm fine. I need to go to lunch. Send me to lunch. You get basically a box nasty, which if you don't know what a box nasty is, it's this frozen sandwich, like Oreos and some condiments and chips. And then you get to pick a water or soda. But they send you to your liaison first to get the meal ticket, and then you go to get your food. So that was that. It wasn't terrible. I was really hungry. It's gonna fill you up. There you go. So then after that, of course, I had to go do the physical, which when I got to when I checked back into medical, 2 other girls had been waiting for physicals for like 2 hours. And they were both in the Navy. I know there's only 2 Navy and 2 Air Force. Out of all of the people that were there were only 4 girls who were there going through MEPS. So when I got there, they're like, okay, yeah, you're next. The girls are next in line for physicals, because apparently we had to wait for all the guys to be done taking their physicals, which guys are so. Never mind. So we waited, and when I sat down, I only waited like 10 minutes, so I was like, so we went in. They have you strip down to your underwear and your bra, and you have to wear regular underwear. You know, you don't want to go wearing a thong or like lacy Victoria's Secret underwear. Just regular underwear, bikinis or hipsters, whichever you prefer, and a regular bra, not a sports bra, just underwire bra. Again, don't make it, oh, that girl has very risque bra on. Just wear a regular bra. So you strip down, they take your weight and your height, and of course you're coming off of lunch, or at least I did. It's like, oh, you weigh 2 pounds more. Seriously? So it wasn't that big of a deal. But then they measure you, and then they do the rest of the girls, and then the doctor comes in, and he's this like old crusty guy who doesn't talk, basically, unless you do something wrong. So we're standing there, and so we line up in a line, and there was only 4 of us in this big room, and it was cold in there. My legs were like all purpley veiny. I was freezing. So he's like, okay, put your hands out. Okay, now flip them over. Okay, cool. And then can you put all your fingers together like this? Okay, now do it fast. It's not that big a deal. Then they have you go into first position in ballet, which if you don't know that, it's when your feet are literally at like a 45-degree angle or a little bit bigger. And they look at your arches of your feet. And it's like, this old guy's like, you're good. And with me, he was like, flat feet. I was like, oh, dang it. So that could disqualify you if it's really bad. Mine's not terrible. It's like a mild pronation. What are you gonna do? So he didn't disqualify me, so that's good. And then he has you put your arms up and you sling them back like this without like moving your whole body, and then you put your arms out and you put them to your sides without touching your sides really fast. Then you pick your knee up and you like dorsiflex your foot and you snap it down. That's what she said. You snap it down and don't touch the ground. Pick it up, snap it down, pick it up, snap it down. Other foot, then you pick up like a, what did they call it? like a hamstring stretch. They look at the bottoms of your feet. I don't know, they're just looking at like weird things and like how your body moves. But then they had us duck walk, which if you don't know how to duck walk, it's literally you squat down and you walk without helping. Your hands can't help you. Like if you fall over, then you have to get back up, but you can't like put your hands down to help you walk. You have to like keep them up here and waddle across this room, turn around while in the duck position, and waddle back and then stand up. And then they had us squat down on our toes, then you had to slam your knees down. So you're in the squat position and then you slam your knees down so that you're sitting on your toes and your knees are on the ground. Ow. And so we all had to do it simultaneously. So it was like, okay, go. Boom, 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 boom. And it was so loud because our knees are all frozen and lady. So that was that. And then you have to get up from that position without any help with your hands. You just have to rock back and stand up, which isn't that big a deal. And then he had us go at the end of the room and like power walk towards him, turn around, power walk back. And I'm like, girl, I am the queen of power walking, get out of my way. So I was just like, and then they had us put our spines up against the wall to see if your spine was straight. And this one girl kept having a hard time. She kept sticking her like butt out. It's like, no, you need to suck your spine, suck in your stomach so that your spine is along the wall. She had 2 doctors have to look at her spine because she wasn't understanding that. Anyways, so that's that. And then you go, after your physical, they call you one-on-one. Actually, that's not really the physical. That's like the body movement physical part. Then they have you get naked, and they give you this little paper apron dress. And that was great. And then they call you one by one into the room with the doctor, and he does breast exam. He listens to you breathe, listens to your heart, and you lay down, and he's not telling you anything. It's the lady who's like giving you the instructions so that he can check you. So she's like, okay, lay down, pull the dress down so that he can give you a breast exam. Okay, breathe in, breathe out, take, stuff like that. She's giving you the instructions. The doctor's not saying anything. So I was like the second to the last person to go of the girls. And the last part is he checks your area, your junk, whatever you want to call it. So she's like, okay, lay back, put your ankles together and let your knees fall apart. And I was just like, okay. So I did that, and this is literally what happens. They don't fill you, they don't give you pap smear, none of that. He lifts up the apron. Yep, that's a girl. Okay, you're done. And then she was like, just stay healthy, watch your weight, blah, blah, blah. And then you're done. And so at that point, I was done with everything, all my medical stuff. And then I went to go take the personality tests. And then after that, I was done. Oh! One of the parts before you go into the physical, after like you do your medical screen where you like check yes if you broke a bone, or check no if blah blah, all of this huge list of yes no, and if the stuff applies to you, they tell you to mark yes, and then you have to explain it. So on my medical pre-screen, I had put no for a broken collarbone because it was a hairline fracture, I guess, I was run over by a car riding my bike my freshman year in university, and broke my collarbone. Didn't go to the hospital until like 3 days after, because after class I was leaving to the sand dunes and spent the whole weekend at the sand dunes bouncing around in off-road vehicles. Came back, then went to the hospital, and they were like, yep, that's a broken collarbone, here's a sling. It really wasn't that big a deal. I mean, it hurt. It hurt bad, but it wasn't that big a deal. And so, for my medical pre-screen, my recruiter was like, does it cause you any problem? No. Then put no, because it's going to take them a long time. Well, I put yes when I was at MEPS, because they really they're like, if you don't give us the right information, that's fraudulent enlistment, blah blah blah, you can get sent to jail, blah blah blah. So I was just like, oh crap, like, okay. So I put yes, and then after I put yes, I was like, dang it. So with the interview with the doctor, she was like, so you put yes, but you put no on your pre-screen, and I guess you can get in trouble for doing that. So I was like, yeah, my recruiter told me just to put no because it's not causing me any pain. She's like, did you check into a hospital? I'm like, she's like, an emergency room? I'm like, no, I just kind of walked in and was like, I broke my collarbone. And so she was like, no, that is checking into the hospital. You got doctors helped you, you know, at the hospital. That counts. So by me putting no on my pre-screen and yes on while I was at MEPS, I had to call the hospital, get my medical records, and have them sent up to MEPS, and they had to look at it. So because I did that, I was temporarily disqualified until my medical records came in. So I left MEPS being temporarily disqualified versus leaving MEPS, going back to my recruiters, and picking my job that day. So I waited a good month to 2 months for frickin' MEPS to go over all that stuff. And a lot of the time was the hospital trying to find my stuff, because it was off-site or whatever. So that took a while. So, like, last month, actually, the end of last month, my recruiter was like, congratulations, your stuff went through, come into the office, we'll pick your job, blah blah blah. So anyways, that's your MEPS experience, and it's not that big a deal. Listen, be aware, because obviously there's hundreds of other people there with you. So my advice is, yes, you're there, you're doing it for you, you're there for you, but you need to be mindful that you're not the only one there, because there's, you know, 50 people at the eye exam place, and they tell you to sit down and wait, and the chairs are along the hallway and you're facing the door. Okay, don't come up and see that there's all these people sitting waiting to go into the eye room and stand in the eye room and say, hey, I'm here to get my eyes looked at. Okay, well, you can go sit down over there at the end of the line and wait like everybody else. Just be smart, don't be dumb. Listen to what they're telling you. Don't talk back. Blah, blah, blah. It's fine. They're not going to check you, except for guys. I don't know, some MEPS might do pap smears, but they told me they don't do pap smears, so I didn't get a pap smear. I already had one, so that's not basically all that stuff. Just listen to where they're telling you to go. Don't worry. Wear comfortable clothing. You're going to be walking around. You're going to be awake from 4 o'clock, and you're not going to leave till like 1 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I wore my Nikes, I wore leggings, and I wore a regular t-shirt. You don't want to wear something that's like, so one girl wore jeans, her tennis shoes, and a shirt. It's fine, whatever you wear. You don't want to wear booty shorts. You don't want to wear shorts. It was winter when I went, so it was really cold. Um, basically that. So have fun and you'll do good. Just listen.